Wow. I think you made a better presentation than I will do now. Sport. You know, I will maybe start before talking about how sport is changing or shaping modern culture. I would like to say sport for me is something that has been just part of my life. I grew up in the north of Portugal. I'm actually Portuguese. It's probably one of the first times I speak in Portugal. And I grew up with sports. Like my dad drove crazy because I used to watch this Saturday to Sunday, all day TV channel number 2, every single type of sport. And I learned so much from it because sports can teach us so much about how we live, how we behave, how we work with each other, and it really gives us a huge amount of experience on how that we can then transfer to how we live. So that's what I'm going to talk to you today, and hopefully it will help also shaping a bit of your culture. Cool. Sorry. And I can't not stop. I can't not start with athletes. I mean, that's why I fell in love with the sport. That's why I fell in love with football. And if I work for Adidas, I have to talk about Messi. I mean, it's probably the second best player in history. For sure, the best player in history of Adidas. And I love how he goes beyond the soccer pitch. But let's talk about when he moved to Miami. And I don't know if you all followed, but when Messi moved to Miami, which was something driven by another cultural icon called David Beckham, when he moved to Miami, the whole pink jersey went viral. Everyone in Miami was wearing the pink jersey. I don't even think they knew what Messi was doing, which is funny. And that's how he went beyond what he does on pitch, which, by the way, it's not too bad. But then he goes, and the shirt goes viral. But not just the shirt. Everything around how he went to Miami, all the thing around MLS, the brand value of MLS skyrocketed. The whole vibe around Lionel Messi and US became a thing. And today I'm talking about, of course, Adidas. You could also do something similar if you talk about a Portuguese player that moved to a different country. And that is how you start seeing the impact of football players and the impact of athletes when they go in turn and move to these countries, these leagues, and the whole impact they have on how people wear, what people wear, how people behave, what they like. Most likely people that never watched football, they went to watch a game. I'm not sure if they understood it, but they went to do it. And you can't also not talk about sports without talking about sneakers. I don't know, how many of you like sneakers? Well, that's a lot of people. That's why you're here today. So I'm a sneakerhead. I mean, I think back at home, people get really annoyed by the amount of sneakers and boxes I have at home. But I love it. And I must say, most of the times, I change every day. I try to just keep up with every day using different one. I even ask my son sometimes to help me choosing which one I'm going to pick because he likes colors. And I will talk about 3 sneakers that are so rooted in what Adidas is, what sneaker culture is. I mean, I could pick many others, but I'm going to talk about 3. I'm going to talk about Stan Smith, I'm going to talk about Samba, and I'm going to talk about Special. How many of you has any one of those? Cool. I think then I guess you know, a lot of those sneakers, they came from pitches, from sports. They were either football boots, they were either handball shoes, they were connected to tennis. But today they are not a sports shoe. They are something you wear for style, something you love wearing when you go out for a party or you go out for work. I mean, if you work in Adidas, is when you go to work, everyone has to wear Adidas, so you got to pick yours. But anyone that looks into these shoes, they don't see the sport heritage, or they try, maybe some of people see it, but what they see is the style you get out of that sport type of sneaker that is so much cool to wear, and it gives you this sense of confidence, and you kind of really feel cool about it. At least that's how I feel about it. Maybe I'm just the wrong person to talk about it. And those sneakers, they have so much heritage. And then when people ask me, what's the difference between a sports brand working with sportswear or a lifestyle versus, I don't know, a brand that is creating their clothes? I always like to say it's heritage. It's our history. It's where we came from. It's how we created these products. It's where they came from. Those are based on performance. Those are based on how we change sports, how we win games. Our athletes did their best. Those shoes that today are style, one day they made someone win. That is something that no other brands can have. It's not just Adidas, Pumas, Nike, sports brands, they have this heritage. And everyone that wears those products, they carry a piece of that heritage every time they walk out on the street. Now, shoes and sneakers, the ones I brought up, they're cool. But we have also other types of sneakers that you probably know about it. And those are the ones that are signature shoes or collab with other artists. And you might wonder, how are those doing? So do you know, who knows these shoes, this sneaker? Not many basketball fans here. So this is AE1. It's one of my favorite sneakers. What is that? That is a basketball shoe with a signature from Anthony Edwards, who is, for me, the... Oh, sorry. Thanks for that. I need to give you a voucher after that. So this is A1, sorry. A1, that Anthony Edwards, which for many is probably one of the future basketball stars. I would say he's probably already one of the basketball stars. If you want to know about it, you can watch Netflix series Starting Five. Probably can watch also the Olympics where he was there. And he has this vibe, this energy. He brings this kind of cool kid from the block. He likes to talk. He likes to just tease the players. And his sneaker represents that. It's color, it's fashion, it's style. It's also very comfortable. And he became one of the most heated sneakers in the NBA last year. But not because people were just wearing it on the court. It's because people were wearing it when they were out. So a couple of weeks ago, I went for a dinner with a couple of friends in Germany. And I wore the green version with a green-black. They are quite bulky, I must say. So I walked into the restaurant, and everyone was looking like, what the hell, what is that? What are you wearing? But people paid attention because it looks cool. And that's what basketball has taught us for years. You see LA Lakers jerseys. You see Michael Jordan jerseys everywhere. Today, what basketball did, today we are doing in other sports. I don't think my dad knows, but he set the trend of wearing football jerseys every day of the week. And he doesn't know it, but I think in my hometown in north of Portugal, he was the pioneer. He always wears sporting jersey. I think he thinks his lifestyle, and he always did it. And my mom drove crazy because he would ask him, why are you always wearing the sporting jerseys? And he would say, because I like the club. Now, today, people wear basketball shoes, sporting jerseys. Maybe they also wear some Adidas jerseys. It's not just because they like the club, but also because they feel cool about it. They feel belonging to something. So from the sport, from the field to the street, there's more than just fashion. At times, there's also about connecting. It's also about feeling part of it. Then we have Pharrell Williams, which I always see on the screens as one of the Hall of Fame. He wore really, I would say, groundbreaking sneakers, so a running shoe, so a world record owner shoe. It looks so cool. Can you imagine that? I mean, everyone thought this was just a running shoe. When he does it, maybe when he does it, looks cooler than when I do it, but it does look fascinating. And this is just setting a trend. And you see these days with other brands, performance shoes, they are being worn by people as lifestyle. And Pharrell just showed that it's possible, even with a shoe that has hit the world record in different marathons by different athletes. And Bad Bunny, I mean, doesn't matter if you like Bad Bunny or not as a song artist, but he's a pop culture icon. I'm not sure if it'll say pop culture, but what he does with Gen Zs, with music, with his country, how he drives culture, people follow him everywhere. So when he creates a signature shoe, which happens to be a basketball shoe, so if you ever watched a story about basketball and where the Forum played and how much it could have made a difference, he has a signature shoe with Forum. It looks so cool. I mean, when I wear it, I don't think I'm Bad Bunny, but I still think I look cooler than when I don't wear it. So those things, those shoes, those sneakers, they have connection to artists, to fashion, to people that are recognized by others. And they follow them because they don't represent just performance, they represent lifestyle. And people that like sneakers, which I hear most of you do, lifestyle matters. I'm a streetwear fan. That's why I have this luxury of working for a sports brand. Being a streetwear fan and being able to wear this type of clothes is just so cool. Now, it doesn't stop there. I will show you two other examples where we went from street to culture. Predator. Who remembers Predator with David Beckham? Wow. No, today people are wearing boots with spikes on the street. How crazy that is. But one day someone also wore high high heels. And someone said, wow, that's crazy. Because first never follows. The first person to wear spikes on the street, it's actually setting a trend, and it's apparently working. I don't do it, but it looks pretty cool when people do it. But we also have just the normal sneaker Predator. And people are buying it because they remember David Beckham and how Predator changed football. But we also have, I just mentioned, the Adi Zeros, the performance, the running shoes. And we kind of start wearing it every day. I got a couple of those, and every time I wear it, I feel so comfortable. It's very hard to then bring low profile or Sambas, because, of course, they don't have the same cushion. But those, they have. And they are not only style, they are also performance. So when I go and travel, fun fact, I take the Evo SL, and I can run with it and walk on the street with it. So I can do both with one shoe, which takes a lot less space in my suitcase. So shoes and sneakers make a difference. Now, we are in Portugal. And if you're in Portugal, you probably know this national team. Do you know, fun fact, this is the national team with the most number of followers on Instagram. It's not Brazil, it's not England, it's not Argentina, it's Portugal. So if you're a brand, you are connected to that. So Puma, one of our competitors, they invested in Portugal. And they invested in Portugal because it brings credibility. People are wearing the national shirt of Portugal without ever watching probably a game of Portugal. I heard they sold out the black shirt that they created honoring Eusébio and the Ballon d'Or from the 60s. The shirt is sold out. I don't think probably people are watching anything about Eusébio, but the shirt looks amazing. And when you connect to Eusébio, when you connect to heritage, people connect to the story behind it. And they find it cool, because heritage matters. And as I said before, consumers are not only buying the product, they are buying the story behind. Do you know this? Do you know this picture? That's Run DMC. Run DMC is probably one of the most famous hip-hop artists, or they were in the 80s and the 90s, and they created a trend of superstar. Superstar with my Adidas represented, for me, for people that like hip-hop, streetwear, hip-hop culture. They brought it up. Samuel L. Jackson just revived it a couple of months ago. If you haven't watched this advertisement, please go and watch it. Because he talks about superstar and the Egyptian pyramids as both that can resist and stay for a very long time. So superstar brings hip-hop culture, brings me memories of the places where I was born. I was born in a social neighborhood, hip-hop, superstar, white shoes, 3 stripes, they represented as fighting, going, hustling. That's what this shoe represents. When you hear Run DMC talking about it, they talk about how the shoe it's not just a shoe, it's their background, it's where they came from, it's how they build themselves as an artist. So, superstar is heritage. And again, people are buying it because they also love that. Now, we talked about sneakers a lot. Who knows this? Well, we're not in India. I love India. So India is the very great representation of local culture and how local culture matters. You can shape sport into local culture by being relevant to them. So India, with cricket, is now an Adidas sponsored shirt. Do you know what happened there? It's the blue wave. It's when India played the final of one of the cricket World Cups, and everyone was wearing blue. But they were not just wearing a sports jersey. They were wearing the pride of their country, of playing the final of the cricket, which is just a religion in their country. When I talk to my friends from India, they don't talk about the brand. They talk about representing their country. They feel like they are playing when they're wearing the jersey. And we do that by giving relevance to their story. We don't just put a shirt there and just make it a cricket shirt. We make sure that the story and the heritage of India and how cricket grew up there, it's told and people connect with. And with that, they become such a powerful community of social selling and community selling, and everyone is buying that because they want to be part of it. Because consumers these days, they don't want to just buy products. They want to connect with brands where brands are, and digital is one of those aspects. They don't want to just go and buy a shoe. They want to know what they can do with it. They want to establish connection with us for long term. They want to know how they can use their points, how can they donate, what the story behind the products, and how can they establish a long-term relationship with brands and know what they stand for. Because it's not just about what you create, it's actually what you are there to do and what you are standing for as a brand. And so all of those connections to us, they need to be perceived from consumers in everything we do. And you probably have heard about how we were impossible, how we turned impossible, and how we made impossible possible, and how impossible is nothing. Well, we also believe that you got this. We also say to consumers that you got this. We believe that everyone should have someone that believes in them. And if you do that, consumers also understand what you stand for. It's not just about sports and winning. It's also about supporting each other. It's about the process to get there. Because as I said before, if you have someone who believes in you, you have probably a higher chance to keep pushing, keep doing, keep going. Because that's what sport is about. So sport can give you the space you need. Sport can unite us more than ever. And sport can take your mind to much better places. Sport is not just something you do, it's something you live. And if you take it to a different level, when you wear sports-related wear, you're also feeling that. Sport, for me, it's life, it's lifestyle, it's energy. And if everyone do more and think about sport as something you can learn from, I truly believe that through sports, we have the power to change lives. And we are shaping culture in modern culture, but we're also shaping a lot of people's lives. And by doing more sport, we are healthier, we are funnier, we are more energized, and then we can buy more sneakers. Thank you.